Does this sound louder than normal, or is this? We don't want to blast. Okay, great. Well, welcome, Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Good to be here. Rabbi Mika, we're going to try to take her place this evening. She is off this week. And
nobody's playing guitar.
And nobody's playing guitar tonight. So you just have Acapulco voices here tonight. Okay, so we're going to be in Mishkan Tefillah, which should be in the pew in front of you. And we're going to start on page 128 with Ma'afa Hayom. Yes, that sounds good. We don't want to hurt anybody's ears.
Ma'afa Hayom, Shabbat Shalom. Ma'afa Hayom, Shabbat Shalom. Coming and singing. Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Ma'afa Hayom. Shabbat Shalom. Ma'afa Hayom. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Okay, we're going to turn back to page 127 for English reading. The bottom of the page. We offer thanks, O God, for this Shabbat which unites us in faith and hope. For Shabbat holiness, which inspires sacred living. For Shabbat memories, glowing even in darkness. For Shabbat peace, born of friendship and love. We offer thanks and blessing, O God.
And now we're going to turn back a little further, page 120, for the candle lighting. And let's see, I think Melissa is handling the oneg for the RPC, but I don't see her here. Probably in the kitchen. So, do you want to...
Can you ask Wendy, would you like
Wendy?
to light
Wendy,
candles?
would you like to light the candles tonight?
No, that's okay. You don't have to.
Sure, she said sure.
Okay.
I think.
Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshenu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu l'hadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Amen. Thank you, Wendy and Patrick. We'll now turn to page 138 for L'chadodi. The traditional.
No, choir version.
Oh, the choir version. Right. Never mind. The traditional choir version. L'chadodi, likrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nikabela. L'chadodi, likrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nikabela la la. L'chadodi, likrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nikabela. L'chadodi, likrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nikabela. Shamor v'zachor b'dibor echad. Hishmi'anu el amiuchad. Adonai echad u'shemo echad. L'shem Tiferet V'liti la la la, L'cha L'cha Dodi, L'krat L'krat Kala, Pene Pene Shabbat Nikabela, L'cha L'cha Dodi, L'krat L'krat Kala, Pene Pene Shabbat Nikabela, L'krat Shabbat L'chuven Elcha, Ki Mekor HaBracha, Merosh Mikedem Nesucha, Sof Ma'aseh B'macha Shavati la la la, L'cha L'cha Dodi, L'krat L'krat Kala, Pene Pene Shabbat Nikabela, L'cha L'cha Dodi, L'krat L'krat Kala, Pene Pene Shabbat Nikabela.
Verse 5.
Hitoreri, Kifa Ore Kumi Ori, Uri, Shir Daveri, Kavod Adonai Alik Nigla la la, L'cha L'cha Dodi, L'krat L'krat Kala, Pene Pene Shabbat Nikabela, L'cha L'cha Dodi, L'krat L'krat Kala, Pene Pene Shabbat Nikabela. We rise and face the main entrance to greet the bride, Shabbat. Boi v'shalom ateret bala, gam b'simcha uv'sahola, toch emunei am sigula, boi chala, la 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 la, l'cha l'cha dodi, l'krat l'krat kala, Pene Pene Shabbat Nikabela, L'cha L'cha Dodi, L'krat L'krat Kala, Pene Pene Shabbat Nikabela. You may be seated. We are going to continue on page 140 at the paragraph break with Tzadikatamar, an oldie but goodie that we haven't done for a little while.
Tzadikatamar Yifra Ke'erez Balon Yiske Shetulim B'veit Adonai B'chatzrot Eloheinu Yafrihu Ojenu Uvum B'seva T'shenim V'rananim Yihu L'hagi Ki Ashar Adonai Tzuri V'lo Avlatabo. And we continue on page 142 with Shalom Aleichem, the traditional melody this time. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech, Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Boichem l'shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech, Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Barchuni l'shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech, Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Tzeitzchem l'shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech, Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. We continue with the Hatzikadosh, page 144.
Yitgadal v'yitgadash shemei Rabbah.
Amen.
Yamad divrach hirutei v'yamlich malchutei. B'chayechon uv'yomechon. Uv'chayei d'chol beit Yisrael. Bagala, bagala. Uv'izman kariv. V'meru. Amen. Yehi shmei Rabbo mevorach, le'olam lo me'omaya, yitbarach, yitbarach, v'yishtabach, v'yitpar, v'yitraman, v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar, v'yitaleh, v'yitalal, shmei dekudisha, b'rechu, le'la min kol berchata v'shirata, Tushbechata v'nechemata damiran b'yalma v'meru. Amen. We now invite you to stand up and visit with one another if you haven't seen people for a while or ever.
But we have a special place we're going to visit. I need everybody to stand up and meet right here in this robing room. Erwin, can you show us where to meet? Everybody, come see the robing room. Stu, you can just stay there and let people know where we are.
Yeah, as opposed to the last. Right. So this is This is a drill. So in the event that we heard something that we did not want to hear, this is one place that we would all go to shelter in place.
Right, so for those of you online, we just did a kind of impromptu drill and went into the robing room. So just in case you're wondering what's going on, the service is still in progress. Stay with us.
Well, we have cell phones. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
That was just the preparation for a drill. It wasn't really a drill, but because we would do it much more quietly and much more quickly. What's up?
I have these here because I forgot to bring them unless you brought them.
No, I didn't bring them.
Okay, good. We're good.
Okay.
Okay, so glad everybody got a chance to visit and also to visit our robing room in the event of an emergency. Always good to walk through those fire drills or whatever you want to call them. We are now going to continue on page 146 with the Baruch. If you're able, please rise. Baruch hu et Adonai hamvorach. Baruch Adonai hamvorach leolam vaed. You may be seated. We'll continue with Ma'ariv Aravim, page 148. Baruch atah.
No, we're not singing it, we're saying it.
We're saying it? We're saying it. Yes, so we're not going to sing it today. We're going to say it.
We're going to pray it.
Pray it. We're going to pray it.
Baruch atah Adonai
Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bidvaro ma'ariv aravim, b'chachma poteach she'arim, udvitvuna mishanei itim, umachalif et hazmanim, umsader et hakokavim, b'mishmeretehem barakia kirtzono, borei yom v'layla, golel or mipnei choshech, v'choshech mipnei or, uma'avir yom umevi laila, umavdil ben yom uvein laila, Adonai tzvaot shemo, El chai v'kayam tamid yimloch alenu le'olam va'ed, Baruch atah Adonai, Ma'ariv Aravim. And now we're going to go to Ahavat Olam, page 150.
Ahavat Olam, Beit
Yisrael, Amcha ahavta, Torah u'mitzvot, Lukim u'mishpatim, Otanu limadeta, Al kein Adonai Eloheinu b'shavenu, uvkumenu nasiach b'chukecha, v'nizmach b'divrei Toratecha, uv'mitzvotecha le'olam va'ed.
Ki hem
Chayenu, v'yorech yameinu, uvahem negei yomam v'layla, negei yomam v'layla, v'ahavatcha al tasir, mimenu le'olamim, Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev amo Yisrael, Ohev amo Yisrael. We now rise for the watchword of our faith, the Shema, on page 152. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Baruch Shem Kevod, Malchuto, Leolam Va'ed. You may be seated. We will continue with the V'ahavta on page 154. We will chant it in Hebrew, and if you'd like to read the English along with it, you're free to do so. Either right below, right down here, or a little bit more modern words on the facing page. V'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavcha u'v'chol nafshecha u'v'chol me'odecha v'hayu הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, uktavtam, amezuzot beitecha, uvisharecha, leman tiskeru, va'asitem et kol mitzvotai, v'yitem kedoshim lelohehem. Ani Adonai Elohechem, asher hotzeiti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim, liot lachem Elohim. Ani Adonai Elohechem, Adonai Elohechem. Amen. So the melody that we just chanted is actually in the same melody as when we chant out of the Torah scrolls. And if you look closely at the words there in Hebrew, if you're familiar with Hebrew, you'll note that like on the first word under the aleph, there's an ah sound, but then there's a little backwards L, and then over the last letter, there's two dots. And that is what is called Torah trope. That tells us what the melody is. So the word is v'ah hafta, and the melody is da 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 da. So we put it together and we get v'ah hafta, and that's how we chant from the Torah. Except in the Torah scroll, there's what? No vowels, no trope. So you really gotta kind of know it very well if you're going to chant out of the Torah scroll. Okay, little lesson for tonight. We are now going to go to a Veterans Day prayer that Pat is going to read that is not in anything that you have, so you can just focus on Mrs. Wolkow.
Okay. One of two. Okay. Compassionate God, source of mercy, we pay tribute to those who have served our country and express our gratitude for their courage and selflessness, both those among us today and those of generations past. This nation, built by those born of this soil and those who have come here from all corners of the earth, is on a continual journey toward its destiny. May we never let down those who have served in defense of this country. May we uphold the values of freedom, of the inherent dignity of every human being by our own right conduct, by the kindness and tolerance we show to one another. May we lead the world by example and become, in the words of Isaiah, a light to the nations. Then, with the labors and sacrifices of these veterans, be honored not in words alone, but by our deeds. Proud of our nation, they answered her call, defending the freedom and safety of all. Oh, that's your part later. Sorry, we didn't separate.
Thank you, Pat. We're going to continue now on page 158 with Mi Chamocha.
Mi chamocha
b'elim Adonai, Mi chamocha nedar b'kodesh, Nora teilot, osef eleh, Malchutecha rauvanecha, bokei ayam lifnei Moshe, Ze'eli anu v'yamru, Adonai imloch le'olam va'ed, v'nemar, kifad Adonai et Yaakov, ugahalo mi'ad chazak mimenu, Baruch atah Adonai, Kal Yisrael. We now turn to page 161, where we will read together in English the paragraph at the top of the page and then follow with the hapores right below it.
Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Adonai, help us to walk with good companions, to live with hope in our hearts and with eternity in our thoughts, that we may lie down in peace and rise up waiting to do your will.
Baruch atah, atah Adonai, haporei sukkah shalom. Shalom aleinu ve'al kol amo Yisrael. Baruch atah, Ta Adonai haporei sukkot shalom. Shalom aleinu ve'al kol amo Yisrael. Ve'al Yerushalayim ve'al kol amo. Ve'al Yerushalayim shalom. Ve'al Yerushalayim ve'al kol amo. Ve'al Yerushalayim shalom. Baruch atah ta Adonai haporei sukkot shalom. Shalom aleinu v'al kol amo Yisrael. Shalom aleinu v'al kol amo Yisrael. We now come to the central part of our service, the Amidah, also known as the Tefillah, on page 164. We will sing in Hebrew on 164, 166, and 168. And then, yes, please rise. I see you're already up. And then after that, you may read either what's in the Hebrew or the transliteration or the English through page 178, or think about whatever is on your mind, whatever's in your heart, whatever you're thinking about these days, whether it's personally for you, whether it's what's happening in Israel, or what's happening in this country. Adonai sifatai tifta ufi agita hilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu v'Elohei avoteinu v'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzhak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'Konei HaKol, V'Zoher Hasdei Avot V'Imahot, U'Megid Gula Livnei V'neihem, Leman Shemo B'Yahava, Melech Ozer Mashiach U'Magid. Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham V'Ezrat Sarah. Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai, Mechayei HaKol Atah Rav Moshiach, Mashiva Ruach U'Merid HaGashem, Mechalkel Chaim B'Chesed, Mechayei HaKol B'Rachamim Rabim, Somech Noflim V'Rofech Olim, Umatir Asurim, Umekayem Emunato, V'Shenei Afar, Michamocha Ba'al Gevurot, Umido Melech, Melech Meimit Umechayeh, Umatzmiat Yeshua, U'Ne'eman Atah L'chayot HaKol. Baruch atah Adonai, Mechayei HaKol. May these hours of rest and renewal open our hearts to joy and our minds to truth. May all who struggle find rest on this day. May all who suffer find solace. May all who hurt find healing on this day. May all who despair find purpose. May all who hunger find fulfillment on this day. And may this day fulfill its promise. Baruch atah Adonai Mekadesh HaShabbat. We now turn to
Page 179.
page 179. Grant us peace, your most precious gift, O eternal source of peace, and give us the will to proclaim its message to all the peoples of the earth. Bless our country as a safeguard of peace, its advocate among the nations. May contentment reign within our borders, health and happiness within our homes. Strengthen the bonds of friendship and fellowship among all the inhabitants of every land. Plant virtue in every soul, and may the love of your name hallow every home and every heart. Praised are you, Eternal One, who blesses our people with peace. Baruch atah Adonai hamarech et amo Yisrael b'shalom. And we'll conclude the Amidah with Oseh Shalom, another, may the one who makes peace in the high heavens make peace for us, for all Israel, and all who inhabit the earth. And now we'll sing this in Hebrew.
Oseh Shalom,
Shalom bimromah, Uyaseh Shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imru amen. Uyaseh Shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, amen. Oseh Shalom, Shalom bimromah, Uyaseh Shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imru amen. Ve'al kol Yisrael, amen. And tonight we do not have a Torah service, but we are going to recognize those who are in need of better health, page 371. And tonight,
Well, and healing anyway, not just health, healing in mind and
healing in
soul
mind,
and spirit.
and soul and spirit, all of those things. So we're thinking about Annie Wohl, granddaughter of Michael Wohl and Dahlia Hirsch, Anita Rosenzweig, Barbara Chansey, Daniel Hurst, Elise Schipper, Fred Belkin, Jerry Bronk, Harvey Malin, Heather Mullis, Maddox Langbine, Marcy Sherloff, Marcy Werdy, Nancy Lever, Natalie Latofsky, Paula Matai, Ray Lee, Steve Noel, and any whom you would care to name out loud this evening.
Shelley Feynman and Deborah Weaver.
Please feel free to join us in the Misha Berach. Misha Berach Avoteinu Mekor HaBracha Le'imotenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Misha Berach Imotenu Mekor HaBracha Le'avo Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen. It is now time for the drash, the short sermon based on this week's Torah portion. I invite David Durlam to the bima to give us some words of wisdom.
Well, this Torah portion is Chayei Sarah, and it's a very significant portion for what's going on in Israel now, and we hope that Melissa's friend Vadim is healthy and safe because he's over there right now and is going to be home in a couple of days. And it has to do with the establishment of the people of Abraham in Israel. But it's also a very interesting portion because it almost seems to have 4 different parts to it. They're just quite a remarkable breaks in the flow of the narrative as you go through the parsha. It starts out, Chayei Sarah is the life of Sarah. Well, it's not the life of Sarah, it's the death of Sarah. And so that's kind of begins the whole thing. And the first dilemma that has to occur is Abraham has to find a place to bury her. And it's possible that Sarah hasn't talked to him for quite a long time because there's no mention of any conversation between Sarah and Abraham between the time of the Akedah, which is when Abraham took Isaac, the little boy that Sarah had when she was 90 years old, up and almost sacrificed him to God. And fortunately, God put an end to that before he did, and we have no evidence that Sarah ever talked to him again. But at any rate, it was his task to bury her, and he didn't have any place in this new land of Israel where he had gone all these years. And so he went to the Hittites, who were then the people that controlled that land, and wanted to buy a cave. And he wanted to buy it from a particular Hittite by the name of Ephron. And Ephron said, I'll give it to you. And Abraham said, no, I'll pay for it. And that's kind of the way it did. And he actually bought not only the cave of Machpelah, but also the whole land around that cave. And that's where he buried Sarah, and for several generations of his offspring afterwards were buried in that same cave. So that's the first part of the story. Then that, of course, begins the second story of the parsha. And the second story is about Abraham makes his servant swear that he will find a wife for Isaac. And so this is part of his plan to have a legacy for himself. And it's important that Isaac gets married. But he wants to make sure that Isaac gets married to one of his relatives. So he sends the servant with a whole caravan full of camels and treasures and all kinds of goods back to northern Mesopotamia, where he came from. And then he was supposed to find a beautiful young woman to be the wife of Isaac. Well, how's he going to do that? There was a big dilemma for him. He was really worried. He finally got there and he said, well, I'm now at the well where I'm supposed to find this woman, but how do I know what woman to pick? And he said, well, tell you what, God, if you would just help me out a little bit. If a beautiful young woman comes here and she says, and I go up and ask her, can I have a drink of water? And she answers, yes, you can have a drink of water, and even I will water your camels for you. So he is finding out not only that she's a beautiful woman, but that she's willing to do her part on things and they actually go kind of that separate mile. So that's what happens. Rebecca comes there, and she's absolutely gorgeous. So he asked her for water, and she said, probably took it off her. She had a big jug on top of her head, took it off and gave it to him, and said, I will also fetch water for your camels. And he had like 6 camels or something. They didn't gonna drink a lot because they'd just been miles and miles. So that solidified the solution of who was going to be Isaac's. But then there was another part of it. He asked Abraham, when Abraham made him promise to do this, what if she won't come? And Abraham said, well, if I don't want you to take Isaac there. I want Isaac to stay here in this land of Canaan. But if she won't come, you're released from your obligation to bring her back. And so the next thing he did was he gave her a nose ring worth half a shekel, which is quite a lot of gold, right, at that time, and a necklace with 10 shekels worth of gold on it. I mean, that was a fortune back in that time. And he then took a number of other presents that Abraham had provided him with and went over to Rebekah's brother and asked if she would come. And Laban, Rebekah's brother, offered it to the decision back to Rebekah, which is quite interesting because we're at a time, something like 1,200 years ago, and women were not given much decision-making power in those days. And this is one of our matriarchs, the important women in our whole tradition, and she's making her own decision about whether she's going to follow this guy all the way back to the land of Canaan. And she does that, so the servant's last task was to set up everything in Sarah's tent, and they consummate the marriage. And we have the first time in the whole Torah where it says that a man loved his wife. So that's a very special kind of occasion. So that's the end of that part of the story. The next part of the story is we're back to Abraham again, and Abraham gets married again. And not only does he get married, he gets 6 boys. So, and there's now, but he gets married not to a Israelite woman. And so he ends up sending the boys back to Mesopotamia, where they came from, so that Isaac would inherit all his wealth, because he was quite a wealthy man by then, and also the field of Machpelah. And Isaac would then establish the tradition of Israel in that land. And the last thing that happens in the Parsha is Abraham dies and is married in the cave of Machpelah. So we have these 4 parts of the story. And what it made me think of is I've been studying development all my life, and it's really, I found that in many areas of development, there's kind of 4 progressions of more complex events. And it starts very simple, this passage with the death of Sarah, and it moves to an exploration that the servant undergoes. He has to travel a long ways. He's got a whole lot of questions. There's big dilemmas, and he's trying to find out what he's supposed to do. And then it moves on to something that's more sustainable, which is that Isaac gets married, and Abraham then finishes off the development to really establish the nation of Israel afterwards. So those are 4 progressions, and if you're ever thinking about trying to understand what other people know that you don't, thinking about beginnings, then exploring. Or what are they doing? Are they just starting something the first time? Are they exploring it? Are they so good at it that they could probably earn a living at it? Or are they creating something much greater than themselves? So those 4 questions are really helped to move in that direction. So that's the story of Chayei Sorah.
Thank you, David. Well done. 4 questions got me thinking about Pesach already. Okay. We are now going to turn to the Aleinu, page 586, and please rise. And for those of you who are familiar with the Aleinu, but not as familiar with the Aleinu that we've been doing lately, follow along. We skip. Sorry, get the right page here. We're gonna use the first one on 586, which actually skips sort of the middle section of what we did for many years, and then we'll go to 591. But if you haven't caught on already, you probably will soon. Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol, l'teit gedula liyotzeh b'reishit, shehu noteh shamayim v'yosed haaretz, u'moshav yikaro b'shamayim mimal, u'shkinat uzo v'gavei meromim, hu Eloheinu einod, ve'anachnu ko'im, u'mishtachavim u'modim, lifnei melech malchei hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. 591. V'nemar v'haya Adonai lemelech al kol haaretz, vayom hahu yeh Adonai echad, u'shemo echad. You may be seated. And now we think about those whose time on earth has passed, and the mourner's Kaddish. So we are now recognizing recently passed Suzanne Judith Rudick, beloved by her daughters Stacy Williams and Ellen Gray, her sisters Mickey Sachs, our temple member here, and Rita Weiner, and grandchildren Alex and Zachary Williams, and Bar Tomer, beloved by her cousin Rabbi Gila Ruskin, emeritus rabbi for our congregation here, and the anniversary of the deaths of Alvin Needle, Bernard Gerber, Edith Schechter, Irene Alk-Getz, Erwin Wolkow, Gerald Bress, Julia Pillersdorf, Larry Spring, Lena Apple, Lisa Skloven, Lorraine Jackman, Louis Markson, Melvin Howard Sang, Ralph Klein, Samuel Berger, and William Weintraub. And we're going to turn first to 592. When I die, give what's left of me away to children and old men that wait to die. And if you need to cry, cry for your brother walking the street beside you. And when you need me, put your arms around anyone and give them what you need to give me. I want to leave you something better than words or sounds. Look for me in the people I've known or loved. And if you cannot give me away, at least let me live in your eyes and not in your mind. You can love me best by letting hands touch hands and by letting go of children that need to be free. Love doesn't die, people do. So when all that's left of me is love, give me away. And we turn to the Mourner's Kaddish on page 598. If you are observing Yartzeit this evening, please rise. And if it is your custom to rise at this time, please rise as well. Yitgadal v'yitgadash me rabbah, v'yalma divrach urete v'yamlich malchute, v'chayechon v'yamechon v'chayei dechol beit Yisrael, v'agala v'izman kariv v'imru amen. Yehi shmei rabbah mavorach le'olam ulmei olmaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh. V'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shmei kudsha brechu. Le'elah min kol birchata v'shirata. Tushbechata v'nechamata. Da'amiran bi'alma v'imru amen. Yehi shlaba rabba min shmaya. V'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'mramav. Uyaseh shalom. Aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Zichronam livracha. May their memories be for a blessing. You may be seated. Okay, next is temple announcements by the president or the RPC chair. But the RPC chair has left the room, so I guess I'm going to have to do it. So we've got a lot going on, but I'll be brief, or as brief as I can, because it's still 5 of 8, so we've got a little time. So, Raise Right. If you haven't gotten into Raise Right yet, look in your bulletin. Get ready for November 19th. That's our annual congregational meeting. Terry Weiner is going to have help people sign up if they haven't signed up. It is a super easy way to earn, like it says, up to 22% off purchases by doing nothing except using gift cards, buying from the places and the things that you would buy anyway. We have the congregational meeting on the 19th. If you haven't signed up, sign up. It's going to be a great meeting and a short meeting. It's only going to be an hour. And then we are going to have a great dinner at no cost. Well, actually, the cost is being covered by a generous congregant. And Paul Lever is providing the dinner. It's going to be fantastic. Then we're going to have a lot of laughs as we revisit the Sig Gast Toast and Roast, or Roast and Toast. I'm not sure exactly which it is, but that was from 2011. And whether you've known Sig since that time or since before that time, you will vastly enjoy the video that we're going to watch. There is a child naming ceremony that's going to happen on December 3rd.
Hold a second. You forgot, after all that's done, you have a chance to shop at the Hanukkah sale.
That's right. That's right. The most important part of that evening. Ooh, I shouldn't have forgot that one. Yeah, we're gonna probably have to buy more that day. Okay, so the child naming ceremony, the Hanukkah party on Sunday, December 8th. That's also going to be Rock Shabbat. So if you don't have plans yet, be there for Rock Shabbat. The first time was a huge success. I'm sure this will be just as good. And then followed by the Hanukkah party with latkes galore. Again, there's no cost. Well, there's a cost, but we kind of cover it as a congregation. Let's see, have I forgotten anything?
Well, the Sisterhood Hanukkah party happens before that one. It is open to Sisterhood members, and if we have some congregants who have not yet joined Sisterhood, be interested in finding out what we do. This is one of the things we do. It's a very low-key, fun party. You're welcome to also sign up. That date is coming up, though, quickly, the 19th of November to sign up. I think because Thanksgiving's in there and whatever, but it seems early. But
I'm sorry, were you finished?
I'm finished.
And there are a couple other things that I forgot to mention. The Brotherhood meets Tuesday night at 7 o'clock. Also at the same time, tough choice here, the Adult Ed Desserts and Discuss, the next version of that. This one's going to feature August. Rhonda August is going to be making several desserts. I don't know what they are, but that will be available to everyone via Zoom. And on the 15th is the senior luncheon, and you don't even have to be a senior to go. But
and you don't have to be a member of the synagogue to go.
You
Just a
don't.
friend.
just a friend.
Oh, the
And you
Shalom.
can have lunch with all of us seniors.
We'll be at Liberatories in Delaware.
There you go. And next Friday night will be a Daven and Dine. So that means 45-minute service and then out to eat. Well, a little challah and then out to eat. And it's going to be at Plaza Mexico, which is at the 543 and I-95 interchange. Used to be Ruby Tuesdays. Now it's Plaza Mexico. Okay.
And not in your brochure, but not in the
Bulletin.
bulletin this evening, but in the newsletter and posted around the building are signs announcing when the gift shop sale is going to be for our young ones and for everyone else involved. This Sunday, we're still in the gift shop, but the next 2 Sundays, not including Thanksgiving weekend, we will be in the social hall with everything we can possibly get out. Come join us.
All right. So, given that it is Veterans Day, we're going to conclude with America the Beautiful, and we're going to sing the first verse and I thought it was the third verse.
But you wouldn't have a closing poem first.
Oh, we were going to have a closing poem before the closing song. Take it away, Pat.
No, you have it.
I have it.
You said you were going to read it.
Take it away, me. Okay. May we never let down those who have served in we already did that one. Sorry. Proud of our nation, they answered her call, defending the freedom and safety of all. On land or on sea or in jets high above, they went out of duty and honor and love. But however they served, Lord, wherever they went, please bless them and help them to know what it meant. And help us to thank them on Veterans Day, for we owe them far more than we ever could say.
Do we have any veterans here this evening? Do we have any sons of veterans here this evening? Sons.
Sons of veterans,
Okay, good.
daughters of veterans.
Oh, sons and daughters. Children of, sorry.
Okay, very good. Now, help me with which was the
We're
second?
doing on page 681, the first verse and the third verse. So the one at the top, the first 2 verses at the top. Okay? You can
Got it. Okay.
Oh,
Beautiful for spacious skies, for amber waves of grain, for purple mountain majesties above the fruited plain. America, America, God shed his grace on thee, and crown thy good with brotherhood from sea to shining sea. Oh, beautiful for heroes proved in liberating strife, who more than self their country love, and mercy more than life. America, America, may God thy gold refine, till all success be nobleness, and every gain divine. Shabbat Shalom. And we'll meet for the oneg in the social hall.
And we wore red, white, and blue, just in case you didn't know.
That's
Those
right.
of you online, please stay with us. We're going to switch to the social hall. You'll be able to join us for Kaddish and Kiddush and Motzi. Feel free.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Mr. President.